Well, it is almost Friday, which means it is time to find out about all the fun things going on this upcoming weekend. So, of course, we have Artsbridge with Jeff Dewitt. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you, sir. How are you, Henry?
I am doing well, and I know this is going to be a jam-packed weekend.
It is a very exciting weekend here in the Mid-Ohio Valley. Starting tonight, again, the Artsbridge Summer Music Series. Tonight from 6:30 to 8 p.m., we're featuring Lisa Wynn and a local favorite, Band of Brothers.
Okay.
And that's at the City Park Band Shell in Parkersburg. Now, if it does rain, we have on Henry's good authority that it may or may not, so we're in that 50-50 chance.
It's check the radar.
So either way, we will be there, and if anything else, we'll be under the Horseshoe Pit Pavilion. So, and then all weekend long, starting Thursday, I believe, right? Tonight, is the 94th Annual Belpre Homecoming Festival. And that's all weekend, and it's at Civitan Park in Belpre.
And don't forget about the parade on Saturday.
That's right. Big parade over there, always. It's 94th Annual. Jeez, it's a couple of years. Almost as old as you, Henry, isn't it?
Okay.
And then Downtown Brew Fest on Saturday, 6 to 10 p.m. Another great tradition in downtown Parkersburg at Bicentennial Park. That's here on Market Street in Parkersburg. But the Downtown Brew Fest,
should
lots of good food, some good beverages, and should be a lot of fun. And speaking of beverages, all weekend long, Rivers, Ales, and Trails Festival. It's kind of centers around the Adelphia Music Hall on 2nd Street in Marietta. You can pick up tickets in Muskingum Park, and it sounds like it's going to be just another fantastic event for the weekend.
And as always, you can check the radar to see where those storms are, but I'm pretty sure everybody should be able to get outside and have fun, especially for the Belpre Homecoming weekend. And Jeff, where can people go to find out more about what's going on this weekend?
Always. The updates are on artsbridgeonline.org. Click the little 3 lines at the top, look for calendar, and everything that we have been told has been listed. And there are a lot of events this weekend.
Because even though what we listed feels like a lot, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely. There's so many things going on for the young kids during the day, different little events they have. And don't forget, we have our jingle contest going on. And October 3rd will be here before we know it, and that is our Dueling Pianos fundraiser and concert. So
as always, can head over to artsbridgeonline.org for more details on all of that. But Jeff Dewitt, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Always, Henry. Thank you.
And we'll have more on Daybreak right after the break.